Sure. I'm just sitting here. PGA hand cleaner. Cool. So they're telling me the mic's hot, so I guess that means you guys can hear me. So, sorry, I was just getting a good whiff of this PGA hand cleaner. So, looks like today we're going to talk about an MTA15Z for a pretty good bit. And before that, y'all know what I'm going to do. I'm going to open us up with a little prayer before we get started, and then we'll talk about what we're going to talk about today and what we're going to show you guys, all right? So let's pray real quick. Father, thank you so much for a beautiful day here in Knoxville. Fall's here now, and we're starting to get the cool mornings in that. It's just amazing to look at everything that you've created around us and the beautiful mountains around us and the cool mornings now. And it's just great to be alive right now in this time, Father. And I just lift up my company, all the other companies that are involved in our work right now. We're hearing a lot of things from out there in the field. The companies are a little bit nervous now and everything with all this pandemic. And Father, I just lift up all the people in our industry. There's so many people that put themselves in harm's way to serve others in our industry, and we're kind of a not really thought of that much part of people's lives. They just make so many assumptions when they just reach and flip that switch on that the lights will come on. They'll always have electricity, but it takes so many people busting their hump out there to make it happen. So I just lift all those people up in our industry. And Father, I also just lift this country up. We've got some decisions that are coming up in our country. It could affect us greatly one way or another. And Father, I just lift it all up to you and just give it to you, Father, because if anytime I give it up to you and let go of it myself, I know things are going to come out a lot better. So all of these things I say and ask according to the will of the one who paid it all, my brother, Jesus Christ. Amen. Cool. All right. So I've got clicker in hand, armed and dangerous. Here we go. Okay, so meter verification with the MTA15Z. I just want to talk a little bit in general first about well, let me go through the pre-stuff real quick. This is our webinar series 13. That's so crazy. 13th webinar series. And so today, like I said, we're going to talk about, really it says MTA15Z, but we're going to talk about the testing of self-contained meters out in the field. So we're going to talk about, obviously, more than just that. But for us, this is one of the ways you can do it with Powermetrix. So we're going to be talking about that. But we're just going to be talking about testing self-contained meters in the field in general. All right, here's what we're going to talk about today. So we've got an overview of the MTA15Z and the cabling of it, the setup of it, running a phantom load test, then running a creep test for like programming to program your meter. Let's back up for a second and talk about, so when you're in the field, we've talked about this, the meters are separated into two classes, right? You've got self-contained, you've got transformer rated. The transformer rated meters, they have a separate set of CTs or PTs, a separate set of current transformers or potential transformers that are then feeding the voltage and current down there to the meter, but they've stepped it down, okay? And they are a separate product that's up there. So that's why you use the red flexes or the high volt probe or these other products to test, okay, the CTs in that on these sites because they have separate CTs that need to be tested. The self-contained meters, everything is in that meter. It's all in there. So it's different to test them. To be able to test a self-contained meter out in the field, you got to pull it. You either got to pull the meter and stick a collar on it for some products, or you got to pull it and bring it back into the shop and put it in a test bench, or you can pull it and test it right there at the site, okay? You can pull and test it with a product like Radiant has the Bantam. We have the 4 series, so you can pull it and stick it in there and hit the button and test it right there at the site. Or, like I said, bring it back to the shop. Or we have another product here that works in conjunction with our 7 series, which is right here. So this is our 7 series right here, and this is the MTA15Z. So a lot of folks have the MTA15Z, and it's probably stashed back in some closet somewhere, and they don't even know what it does, okay? So that's where we're going to talk about it today, because it's more than just testing self-contained meters. You don't need to go out and buy a warm-up board. You got one right here. So you can use this to program your meters. So you don't need to buy a warm-up board. You could just, if you already have an MTA15Z, just dust it off a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to run it today, and you'll be able to use it as a warm-up board, okay, to program your meters. All right? So, like I said, 7 series and the MTA15Z. If you're going to use the MTA15Z with the 7 series, think about it. I'm going to power up this meter that I'm going to stick in here. I have to be able to supply voltage and current. So you're going to need a 7 series that has a voltage source as well as a current source. So you're going to need a 7332 or a 7335. Okay, if you have a 7305 or a 7302, that means you don't have the voltage source there, just a current source, and then the MTA15Z wouldn't work. You can always upgrade and get a voltage source put in your 7 series and then get a 15Z. Totally up to you, but this is going to require voltage and current to be able to run it. Okay? So let me slide around here to the front. Okay, so let's talk about the connections here. I've got to use the MTA15Z here for the current cable. For the current cable, I use the 6mm plugs. It's the same cable that I would use for a load boost kit. Okay, so you've seen these before, my 6mm. On that stand, you've seen them before. They're the ones that connect to the drive cable that run through my CTs on my stand, right? So that's what powers up, runs the current through those CTs on my test stand that's on promo with us right now. So these are the 6mm connectors, so that's what I'm going to use for my current here. So if you look right here on the face of the MTA15Z, you can see right here that here's where I'm going to make these connections. But the first thing I'm going to do, because we're all trying to see if I can pull this off, I'm going to try and put the meter in without really jacking up the whole camera view too much. So let's do that first. So I'm going to take my meter, and you guys can grade me on how well I do this. So far, not so good. Oh, there we go. Got it. Already hit one. I felt myself hit one. Okay, what's going on here? All right. I'm sure I moved that horribly. What? Okay, but I kicked that one. Really? I'll be dadgum. Oh, it's not in? Okay. All right, good. All right. So we got that in. I was asked to do that leaving it standing up for camera angles. Normally I would lay it down and do it. But, okay, so we got the meters in, right? So now, our 6mm connectors. They're labeled pretty easily for you on the face of the MTA15Z right here. So I got my drive or black end goes here. My return or white goes in here. And I've even got the white ring around here. Same on my, you recognize these connectors from my load boost kits. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to take red A phase, and I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to go the red black right there, and then the red white right here. Okay, so now I'm going to just do the rest with the others, and I'm going to go B phase drive, B phase return, C phase drive, C phase return. Okay? So my 6mm just go in here. And remember, they're push in and pull out when you get ready to take them out of there. All right, so here we go. So I've got my 6mm are all connected correctly. Okay? I've got two cables right here. You can see on the front of here, I've got this cable right here. I've got this cable right here. So this cable goes into my aux analog, and it's all in the instructions and everything. So you got my aux analog connects to right here, and this is this connector that goes in right here, okay? Okay, so that goes right there into my DC in, and then I got right here. You can see this goes in my RS232 connector right here, and it goes from here over into my control in, okay? So I connect it right here. So those are the only different connections that you haven't seen so far in any other product. So I'm connecting right here. DC in comes right off of here, off my aux analog, and then right off my RS232 comes in right in here, okay, into my control in. I'm not doing KYZ, so I'm leaving that, but it is capable of that, okay? So I've got these connected, I've got these two connected, and then last but not least, my voltage connection's up here. So here's what you do. we rarely separate these out in the field, right? We're always usually leaving them, and I've got an alligator clip stuck on there. But for this, you can see we separate them out right here, okay? So you can see, I'll just take C phase for instance, right here on C phase, it has drive, return. You can see that right there. See where it says drive right there? So I'm going to take this. This is going to be my drive. I'm going to take the drive, I'm going to put it down here at the bottom, and then blue up top. So there's C phase connected. So I just separate the voltage connections here. I just connect them like that. And last B phase. Okay, and then ground. Now you can't see it, but my ground is connected. I'm obviously plugged into the wall because I'm not out in the field. So I'm plugged into the wall right there. So that's where we're connected to our black box and plugged into the wall. Okay? So here you can see I've got all of my voltage connections are connected up here. I've got my 6 mils are connected here. So everything looks good? All right, so let's go ahead and try a test. Okay? So we're going to try, and by the way, the MTA15Z, just like our 4 Series model, it will take both transform-rated and self-contained meters, by the way. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and let's do a component test here, number 2. And we're going to do a meter test, number 1. Oh, pickup. Where's my pickup? Oh, here we go. And if you want to count the pulses, it helps to have a pickup. Okay, cool. Which adapter are you using? The MTA15 was an old model that was replaced by the MTA15Z. But if you did have to have the old MTA15, you would hit this button. But we're MTA15Z, so we're going to hit this. Please connect PowerMaster to MTA15Z, RS232, control in, aux analog to DCN. Those are those 2 funny cables we hadn't seen before, right? So it's just reminding you right here that the 232 one right here goes to the control in over here. And that right here, my aux analog goes right in here to my DC in. Okay? So we're good there, so we can hit continue. So we do have a 9 in there, confirming that. Yep. So, and we do have a Landis and gear. That is correct there. If we wanted to change it, we could. Service type, 3-phase 4-wire, that's right. And now we need to put in the manufacturer's serial number. How about using the old barcode scanner? Sometimes you take the barcode scanner, right? You got to like it. So I went in and put in my manufacturer's serial number in there, right? So barcode scan it. If you were sitting here just cranking out a whole bunch of them, you could just bam, 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 right? So I'm going to enter number 1. All that looks good. So we're going to hit next. So I'm going to choose a test that we won't have to wait for so many pulses. So I've created one called 5 amp quick test. So I'm going to run 5 amps, and you can see I'm running 3, 3, and 1 on my pulses. You can see all my stuff here, so I'm going to go this way. Continue. And you notice 120 volts right there in that column because I'm supplying the voltage. Remember when we talked about phantom load tests, if I leave 0 in there, I'm using the site voltage. If I'm applying the voltage, I have to put some voltage in there. So it was 0. I changed all those to 120 because for the 3 tests because I am applying the voltage here as well. Okay? Snag of water. And the tiny little gasp that you heard, I don't know if you could hear it on my mic, was me stepping over all those cables and Jarrett behind me going, no. Okay, so here we go. Start test. So it will run the standard phantom load test you've seen us do many times, full load, power factor, light load. I've set it up for 3, 3, and 1 on the number of pulses. So you can use the MTA15 in the field, or you can use it just like we've got it inside here. Like I said, you could have your barcode scanner just sitting there going boom, boom, boom. Or BAM? Or in their van, that's true. Down by the river. Yeah, they can have a van. Okay. So do we actually have customers, Chris, that have these set up in their vans? That's all? Just, yeah. I'll lob him up one so he can sit there and talk about our customers, how they use our products here. Yeah. No, he's not. Oh, he's not mic'd. Okay. Well, I think it has something to do with the mask, too. When people are wearing a mask, it seems like the conversations have shortened. It was like, I'm so sick of talking to these masks, man. Okay. Okay, so we can see that it passed the full load, the power factor, and the light load tests. All our numbers in green, so we liked what we saw. Like I said, we went 3, 3, and 1 on the pulses, so everything looks okay. Losing a little bit or win a little bit on the others. So everything looks okay. So this test would be complete, and we could say that we have performed the phantom load test on this meter right here, so it would be complete, right? So we would hit done. Yep, that's what I was going to do. Now I want to show the creep test. So the next test that we're going to do is I'm going to show you a way that you can save on having to buy warm-up boards. So we're going to hit number 2 for a component test. And then I'm going to do number 2, a creep test with the MTA15Z. So I'm going to go number 2. We cool? Yes, sir. Yeah, good. All right, we're good. Sorry about that. Battery's on the old mic pack. Might have to change them again here in just a second. All right. So you can see here on the screen, all you have to do is choose your meter form. No, we might need them. I might need them again. Live TV. Live TV. So Chris runs in and he sees me already tell you, he's like, what? And he gets this crestfallen look like I ran all the way across half the building to grab you a couple of batteries. Anyway. Okay, so we got, so here you just choose your form. So in this case it's a Form 9. Then you just choose the voltages. What we're doing is we're applying a voltage to this meter to get it running so you can program it, so you can look at what is in it already programmed, or you can actually program the meter, right? So it can perform the function of a warm-up board. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to hit start. So now what it's going to do here is it's going to show you the elapsed time, right? And it's going to start it up, so you got the meter running, so now you can program the meter. You can look at what's already on there that's been programmed to see if you need to change something. But all of that you can perform now with this MTA15Z. You might have it sitting in the closet. You don't need to buy a warm-up board, right? You can just use this. Okay? So it'll just run for indefinitely. Okay? So there's no timeout on it. So So you could let it run as long as you wanted to, as long as it had power. So we can see down here that our meter is running. So if somebody needed, like I said, needed to program it or do anything with it, they could. All right? So I hope everybody, so what we tried to show today was you have options to see, you know, with the MTA15Z is a Powermetrix option to be able to test self-contained meters in the field. We also have the 4 series option, or you can use to do customer load tests. It's a whole different ball game. But to do a phantom load test on a self-contained meter, you got to pull it. Okay, so you can pull it and put it in here. You can put a collar on it, put it back in, use it with ProWheel product. You can pull it, stick it in a Bantam with Radian. You can pull it and stick it in our 4 series also. So it's just that it's the idea of you need to pull that meter because you're going to have to supply the voltage and current to it. Okay, and it's usually higher values too, because remember everything's stepped down with the transformer rated stuff. So so it requires a different power, you know, just different power requirements on there for self-contained. So you can use it also as a warm-up board. You saw that. You could just turn it on, let it run. You could program it, change any program on it, or you know, like I said, you could program it yourself. But the main thing is you have the products here available. So if you did want to do self-contained meter testing in the field, even phantom load testing, you can do it. You don't have to pull the meter and bring it into the test board in the shop. Okay, so you can test it down in the field. So you can use this, like I said, to actually do the testing. You can use it as to do your programming of your meters. You can use it for that. But remember, you're going to have a voltage source over here on this one. Okay. And we got some pretty exciting news for next week. We are going to be launching a new product next week. So I've changed my travel plans around because Chris Mullins cracked the whip on me and made me change my plans. So, but anyway, so I'm going to be going to, I will be staying here next week, and we're going to be launching a new product. And it's going to be pretty cool. So that'll be on Tuesday. Okay. Don't forget, we got the promo still going on the stands. And we're going to do one here coming up. We've only promised it for a while, is the upgrade on the 3, the lid promo. Yeah, that's kind of a running joke with Mullins now. But we're excited about the new product launch for next week. So I will be here for that. So I'm excited. So we're going to get to show you that next week. If you have any questions, please holler at us. Holler at any of the guys out there that we've got working out there in the field, and or holler at us in here. But most of all, be safe out there. Make it home to your families okay. Do your job well. And God bless y'all. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next week with a new product.